What's going on, guys? I'm Dan. This is Cinder Waters, and today we have a review for you from the house of John Varvatos. But before we go any further, how about you hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell. So for the past week and a half, I've been a little bit under the weather. I haven't been able to smell fragrances that well, so I haven't even put any thought into doing any reviews. So now that I got my sense of smell back, the show must go on. So just like I said in the intro, or if you read the title, you know what this is all about. It's from the house of John Varvatos, and it's their new rendition of their Nick Jonas collab. And this one's called Nick Jonas Crimson. So for the presentation, you have the dark bottom that goes up to a crimson color. You have the John Varvatos by Nick Jonas, cross Nick Jonas, whatever, insignia, and the name of the front. Nowhere on the box, nor does it say on the bottle crimson, but that's the name that's being given to it. So that's what we're rolling with. So that's the box. You have nothing on the back, information on the bottom, blah, blah, blah. So for comparison purposes, I have my previous Nick Jonas fragrance from John Varvatos, and this one is the newer one. And as you can see, they're similar bottles, similar everything, except for the color. So one goes from a dark black to a blue. This one goes from a dark black to a crimson color. Same stuff. Nice tassel looking thing on the front. And if you don't really care for that tassel, you can always take that thing off by popping that off, and there you go. But I don't mind it on there. Spray on these. Nice little mist. It doesn't really shoot out too far, but it's pretty good. Before we get into the actual smell of the fragrance, let me give you the notes. So for the top notes, you have bergamot, rum, apple, coffee, and cedar leaf. And for the mid notes, you have saffron, lavender, amber, and suede. And for the base, you have labdanum, musk, patchouli, vetiver, and incense. And for the concentration for this one and the previous one, they're both EDTs. So off of first sniff, it does get a very fresh vibe, which is from the bergamot and probably the vetiver and whatnot, but you also get a little bit of that rum and coffee. The vibe that I get when I'm smelling this fragrance, it gives me like a red vibe. Smelling a color is kind of hard to depict, but that's the color I get when I smell. That's the vibe I get when I smell this fragrance, like a reddish vibe. Now, when you smell this and you're comparing it to the previous one, they do smell slightly similar, but they are different fragrances altogether. The other one smells a little bit more fresh. This one smells a little bit more, just a little bit darker, just slightly, not so much, maybe because of the coffee and rum, where the other one I think was just a more nighttime, fresher take. Smelling the two side by side, you can definitely tell a big difference. You can tell that there's slightly similar, that they're almost in the same vein, but they're big time different fragrances. This one has a more fresher take to it, the original one. This one has a more darker tone to it, but they both work great during the nighttime, I feel, and daytime. This one, the coffee and the rum, they actually just give it a little bit more bass and depth, where this one, it was very fresh, but it also had like a creamy tone to it, which I think was from the sandalwood. This one doesn't have any sandalwood in it or anything that makes a creamy type of tone. So this one does not come off creamy whatsoever, especially in the dry down. When it comes to this Nick Jonas Crimson, the projection was about maybe an hour, hour and a half, and the longevity was about 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, give or take. The age range that I think this works for, I can see this working for a teenager and up. I can see an adult wearing this one as well. Good for an office fragrance, great for a date night fragrance, I feel, as well. You know what? Let me take that back. The ages that I see this fragrance working for is maybe the ages 20 and up. The coffee note does give it a little bit more mature vibe to it, I feel. Now, so many of the young people, I feel, can pull off the coffee note or the rum note. Just by the rum note alone, I don't really see many young kids or youth wearing this type of fragrance. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't smell like you're an alcoholic whatsoever, but it's just that tone that it gives off does not seem like a youthful type of fragrance. But that being said, anybody can wear whatever they want. The fact that this does not project a whole lot, I don't feel like this is so much of a great clubbing scent, but honestly, if you spray enough on there, who knows, it might work some magic. The times that I feel that this fragrance would work great for would be date nights, maybe even the club, nighttime scenes, you know, all that. But I don't really see this working so much during the winter time or even cold times. The times where it's more warmer, like spring, summer, those type of warm nights, spring and summer nights, maybe even a warm fall. This bottle comes in two different sizes, a 75 ml and a 125 ml. Giving this fragrance a rating 1 out of 10, I give this a 7. It's not a bad fragrance. It's not, to me, it's nothing new. It smells good, don't get me wrong. It's a good smelling fragrance, but it's nothing new. It's been done before. Is this a fragrance that I would buy again if I were to run out? No. It's nothing new. It's nothing special. The bottle looks dope, don't get me wrong, but it's nothing that hasn't been done before. Great fragrance, but it is what it is. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you're not gonna miss out. So there you go, guys. That's my take on John Varvatos collabing with Nick Jonas, Crimson. What's your take on it? Do you have this fragrance? Have you smelled it yet? Do you have the previous one by Nick Jonas and John Varvatos? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell. John Varvatos collabing with Nick Jonas. Great bottle, pretty decent scent, but at the end of the day, still scented water.